Reward them as martyrs who spilled their blood for the faith. Now I'm going to tell you how I spilled my blood. In other words, if I don't break any rule in this convent, I do whatever they tell me to do, whether it's right or wrong, because there, God does not hold one thing against us if we do this, what the Mother Superior tells us to do. Regardless of what it is, whether it's right or wrong, we are taught to believe God does not hold us against it, and we don't know any better, so we believe that is true too. All right. Now, you know, after my hair is cut, after all identification, God does not hold us against it, and we don't know any better, so we believe that is true too. All right, now. You know, after my hair is cut, after all identification of who I am is destroyed, after the oaths have been read to me, all right, now the Mother Superior is going to open the door like I was coming out of her room right there, only it's in the middle of the building like this. And she's going to go with me. She's going to bring me right down through the center of this building, just about halfway, and we stop right there. Now, I don't know any more about what's going to happen than you do. Not one word did they tell me. I don't know where she's taking me. I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, because nothing has been told to me. I'm just doing what the Mother Superior tells me. All right, but the thing I observed is this. When we opened the door up here and started walking down here, she has her arm locked in mine. That door back there is opened, and through that door walks a Roman Catholic priest dressed in a holy habit, and he's walking right down to the center of the room, and when we get about the middle of the room, then we stop. And the Mother still has her arm locked in my arm. She steps around on the opposite side of me, and the priest steps around where she was, and he attempted to lock his arm in my arm. No priest has ever done that. I'm 21 years of age when I took my perpetual vows. No priest ever did that to me. And instantly I jerked away from him, and I didn't like it one little bit. And I was very ugly about it, but I jerked away from him. And the Mother Superior immediately reminded me of my obligations. She reminded me the priest is not like other men. No, she reminded me the priest represented the Holy Ghost, and so on and so forth. All right, but I didn't let him put his arm in mine. Now, what was that Roman Catholic priest there for? He was there to take me to the bridal chamber. That's what he was there for. That's hidden from the Roman Catholic people. They don't know that unless you have taken the oath to become a nun. Nobody else knows anything about it, and you're not going to read about it, and you're not going to hear about it. And if you go ask them about it, they'll stand up and look in your face and deny it. But that's exactly what happened. Oh, listen, folks. I began crying hysterically, and I told you I had a good mother and a good father. You know what I did? In crying, I wanted to talk, and the Mother Superior just kept reminding me of my obligation. All right. Finally, she let me say what I wanted to. I said, let me say something. Please let me talk a moment. This is what I said when they did permit me to talk. I said, why didn't you inform me this was going to happen before I took my perpetual vows? I would never have taken them had you only let me know this. You deceived me. And then I told her what happened. My father and mother took me to the convent boarding school, and I, like 3 months, being 13 years of age. And you know, when about a few days before I was ready to be taken to the convent, my mother sent me right down in that big old kitchen. And there, you know, little girls then, I told you I never slept away from home one night in my life, and I never went anywhere, that they took me and brought me back home, and we were under subjection to our parents. And oh, she sat me down there. I didn't know anything about life. I can assure you I didn't. And my mother proceeded to tell me about life. And she said, Charlotte, I would rather dig your grave with my hands and bury you with my own hands than to know you lost your virtue. Then I started to cry, because I don't know what the word virtue meant. I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't know what it was all about. And she wanted to know why I was crying, and I said, I don't understand you. Then my mother proceeded to tell me what the word virtue meant. And there are girls sitting in this building, and boys have already lost your virtue. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're in this building. You've already lost your virtue. And I didn't even know what it was all about when I was nearly 13 years of age. Oh, listen, folks, it's a serious thing when you think about it. Tens of thousands of young boys and girls don't even have the virtue. At 12 years of age, they don't have it right now. And here I was at nearly 13 years old, and I don't even know what it's all about. Then my mother told me why God created me and what the purpose of the creation of my body was for. She explained life to me then. And I'm telling that to this priest and the Mother Superior, and didn't they laugh at me? But I can assure you one thing right now, they didn't take me to any bridal chamber. I can assure you that. I think one of us would have died. I had a good strong body and I'd have fought till I dropped dead. I didn't go in the convent to be a bad woman. Bad women do not go in convents, and I'd like to get that across to you. Bad women do not go in convents. Bad women stay right out here on your street corners and try to lure your sons and your daughters. Oh yes, they do. They don't go into convents. They wouldn't last in there no time. And so I didn't go into convent to be a bad woman. I went in there to work for God and to pray for lost humanity, but I'm waking up to a lot of things that I didn't even know existed. These are terrible things, I can assure you. All right, now they have my passport and my visa in a short time, and everything's ready to transport me to a foreign country. And when they got me over there, I told you a bit about it last night. I was put in a convent. One story under the ground I lived. It was 35 miles of undertunnel in that convent, one of the biggest convents in most countries that I know anything about. I was there about 3 days. Well, this morning the Mother Superior, now I know I have 3 initiation penances coming, and it was on this day that the Mother Superior began to talk to me about penance. And she said, we're going to do penance this morning. Don't worry, you don't open your mouth, you don't say a word. And so I just went with her, and she brought me into a room much larger than this room. There are no lights in any of those rooms, except there is a candle holder standing about this high. It's about that wide across. It has 7 candles across here. Slender candles, and they are burning. All right, so the Mother Superior is bringing me right down through the room like this. And when we got right here now, it takes a little while to get your eyes adjusted to that darkness. And when I got about this far, then she directed me, because remember, I'm walking on my toes. I'm walking with my eyes only half open. We have to walk with them downcast. So she turns me and directs my path over here. And when I step right over here, here is a cross. It's laying on its side, and it's about between 5 and 6 feet tall, and it's made of very heavy lumber or timber, whichever you want to call it. And so the Mother has me to walk over to the foot of that cross, and then she's going to take all of my clothing off down to my waistline, and then she has me to drape my body over the foot of the cross, and they pull both of my hands underneath the cross, and they're bound securely to my knees. This is where I'm going to spill my blood, as Jesus shed his blood upon Calvary. The Mother told me that before I took my perpetual vows. I thought it was big enough to do it, if I was doing it for God. All right, and now, 2 little nuns, the flagellation sticks are sticks about that long, and they're about that big around, and on the end of that stick, there are 6 straps about this long on the end of either strap. They're cross pieces of sharp metal. 1 little nun stands on either side, and they began whipping my bare body, my back, and it's lacerated, it's wounded, and blood is running to the floor. And of course, I'm taught to believe. Well, remember, we don't break silence in the convent. We were taught that when we first come in to the boarding school. You don't make any unnecessary noises, and you're punished for it. And oh, I know better than to cry out loud. We learn to shed our tears inwardly, and we suffer inwardly. That was painful. That really hurt. More pain than you know anything about. All right, she left those little nuns both whipping me at the same time until she thought I spilled enough blood, and then the Mother Superior had them to stop. Then the Mother Superior released my hands from my knees, and she straightened me up. Do you think she washed away the blood and cleaned up the wounds and put anything on? Of course she didn't. The Mother Superior put my clothing right back upon my body. This is around 9:30 in the morning, and then I'm going to work until 9:15 that night, and I'm going to work. So you don't know what it's all about. I work like a man. There we work. I said, I think I could build a house like any carpenter. I think I could dig a basement like any man. I've had to do it in the convent. I know what hard work is. Listen, folk, I work very hard all day long. And you know, when I told you about it when you come to bed in the open order, but this is cloister now. And when it's time for us to go to bed 9:30 at night, 9:15, they bring us and line us up right there in front of our cell doors. We sleep in cells. And we turn our back to each other and take off our holy habit, and we put on a muslin nightgown. Oh, but don't you know, all day long some of my clothing had dried in those wounds, and I happen to be a human being. I feel just as much as you do. And you know, I could not take off all my clothes. I don't know how I got by with it, but I did. I just took off the top part, and it hurt me so badly I slipped the gown right over top of the rest of my clothes. I went in my cell over the, we sleep not on the bed. We have only a slab of wood, no mattress, no springs, no pillow, one blanket. You can use the blanket for cover, or you can use it underneath you, or you can use it for a pillow. That's all up to you, but that's all you have. And before I lie down, I must kneel. Our prayer board is two boards going straight up and down like this, and the one I'm going to kneel on down here is about this long and about that wide, and there's scores of little sharp wires coming through the board. And the one up here where I prostrate my arms on it like this, those are sharp wires coming through. Now I must kneel on that board and pray for lost humanity for a period of time. Oh, the pain, the pain. And we are taught to believe through our suffering we are being made holier, and we're being drawn closer to God, and through our suffering our lovely Jesus is made happy. And because we're heathens and the Bible was a hidden book to us, we don't know any better, and so we're willing to suffer. And that was a part of my penance, and I wanted to be as holy as I knew how to be. Ah, but it was terrible. Then I could lie down on my slab of wood. But you don't know the pain I went through that night. You don't know the suffering, but you don't get off of that slab of wood and walk around. No, you're locked in there. The cells are all locked at night, and you're not going anywhere. And I tell you, when the following morning comes, and of course we just have that 5 minutes to dress and so on and so forth, and we are given an office duty. Then we can go to the refectory where we have our breakfast. But you know, this is in a foreign country now. Oh, listen, folk, when I went into that refectory, I'd have long tables in there, and you could see the big old tin cup. This is what we have for breakfast. It's a big old farmer's tin cup, and that is full of strong black coffee, no milk, no sugar. And the bread is made in the convent of unrefined flours. They're very coarse bread, and they weigh it, and the one slice must not weigh more than 4 ounces. That's my breakfast. That's all I get. But I didn't eat my bread that morning. Neither did I drink my cup of coffee. I wasn't hungry. My body's hurting too badly. And when they brought me back to Nixon the following morning for my breakfast, I should have said breakfast first, because that's where we get the tin cup full of coffee and the piece of bread. In the evening, when we get our evening meal, that's along 4:30 or 5, this is what we find. We have 2 meals a day, no lunch at noon whatsoever. Right in the evening, they have a tin pan about this big around, and it's possibly about that deep, and they have taken fresh vegetables and cooked them together with no seasoning, and that's put in that pie pan, and we have a half a slice of that bread, 2 ounces, and a tin cup full of strong black coffee, and that is our evening meal. But folk, you didn't eat for several days. I wasn't hungry. Oh, and there's no place to get any food when you get hungry. But my body hurt too badly, and so I know what it feels like. And this is terrible. All right, I have another initiation penance, and I didn't get well from this one till the other one is going to be inflicted upon me. It wasn't so severe, but it's bad enough. And on this particular time, the Mother Superior is going to bring me. She said, we're going to do penance this morning. Didn't bring me into that penance chamber at all. We call them penance chambers. That's what they really are, what they were built for. And this morning she brings me into another large room, no lights except the candles, and they bring me right down through the middle like this. And when I got down, the candles are here, not on a platform, it's all level floor. Well, I could see as I got closer, there's a bench down there. It was about 6 feet long, or maybe about that wide, and the closer I got to it, as the light fell down on it, I saw something was on the bench, but I don't know what it is yet. And then when I got up closer, I saw there's a little nun laying on the bench. She had her holy habit on, but she was lying on that slab of wood. But I didn't know until I got right up to that slab of wood, that little nun is dead. And I mean she's dead. And you can imagine the horror that went through me, the fear that got a hold of me. Is that what the Mother Superior is going to do to me? I don't know now. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. And the Mother Superior said, you're going to stand vigil over that dead nun for 1 hour. Oh, wait a minute, folks. I'm not afraid of the dead. Nobody in the cemetery has ever come to life to harm me, but I have to watch live people all over this country. How many times they've tried to kill me. How many times they've tried to poison me. How many times they've tried to spill my blood because I give this testimony. I don't worry about the fellow in the cemetery. They won't hurt me, but I do have to watch live people. And so I'm not afraid of the dead. All right, and I know at the end of the hour, a little nun is coming from out of the darkness somewhere, and she will relieve me. We're not allowed to speak to each other. When the mother walked out over there, she locked the door. I heard her turn a key in it. Now, if you were in this particular particular room, you would know back here behind me, I don't know where it goes and I don't know how far it goes, but it's total blackness back there. It's cavity, but I don't know where it goes. All right, every few minutes I have to walk around in front of the nun here, and I sprinkle holy water and ashes over her little body and say, peace be unto you. And now, just about the time that hour was up, and I had no way to tell until the bell is tapped, I had walked around in front of her like this and sprinkled the holy water and the ashes, and I come back like this, and my back is facing this. And all of a sudden, out of that darkness back there,